Okay, let's have a look at our flow offense. The initial part, so what we're looking at right now is where we receive the ball on defense. So one of our interior players here has rebounded the ball, all right, and we're about to take off into transition. So we need to have a look at where we run to. First and foremost, our main ball carrier would be sprinting to an open position, possibly off the elbows or a bit wider, to receive that outlet pass on the ball side of the floor. Okay, as soon as we've secured the rebound, our other two perimeter players should be taking off and getting out really wide on the court. Remember, offense is all about creating space. As you cross halfway, you should be looking back towards the ball, all right, but also running that nice angle all the way in towards the bucket. All right, and if you don't receive the ball, you would loop back out, all right, looking to lead back to the wing. Our interior players, so once 5 had rebounded the ball, the other interior player here, our 4, should have sprinted ahead, okay, and run just off the ball side. Again, same thing, when you get past halfway, turn your head looking for that ball through that center lane, all right, and you will obviously sprint ahead, head to bucket, all right, and look for the post up on the ball side when that ball comes down the floor. All right, so the 1 would be looking to bring that ball through that center circle, all right, the best they can, and at all times would be looking up the floor, trying to kick that pass ahead early if it's possible, okay? The 5, the person who rebounded the ball, will trail the ball, so they're a bit of a safety each time, all right, and they'll end up in that trailing big spot. If we do kick the ball ahead early, all right, which is great, our 4 would be posting up on the ball side, and our 1 will just continue to cut, trying to get the ball back straight through the middle and through to the opposite corner. So you can see from that we've set up into our flow action where we've got our 2 interior players, 1 at the top, 1 in the dunker spot. We've got our perimeter players on the wings plus 1 baseline. And from that action, we would go into our flow. The only other option in transition that we might have, if we go back to the 1 having the ball, if the 1 couldn't pass ahead early because there was defense there was no open pass, then we can run a dribble entry. All that means is instead of the 1 passing it and running through to the opposite corner, all right, they'll just dribble out a wing. So if they dribble at the 3 on this side here, the 3 would just go straight through to the opposite corner and the 1 would take their place on the wing, and we're in that same format. So that is where we should be running to and entering into our flow option. Okay, so once we've got into our positions, sometimes we find it difficult to make this reversal pass, which initiates our 3-side action. The first option, and the option that I want to see most of the time, is our trailing big, all right, sprinting down straight into the block and setting a screen for our 4 or our other interior player to pop up to that top position to receive that pass. All right, and once that's happened, we can then look at our options on the 3 side. So that cutter going through, etc., which we'll get to in a moment. The other option is the total opposite to what we just did. It's the big that's already down the floor. So if we go back to our initial positions where the 4 hit the hoop first and posted up and the 5 was coming down, the 4 can step in and set a back screen for the 5 to come off, and we could be looking to pass that in. All right, and if we don't get it, pop to ball side, and then after we set the screen, pop out, and we can then get that same action. So we've got the interior players down screening or up screening to create that option of the pass up the top. The only other option we might run is called Euro, where the ball is on the wing, and a Euro screen is simply screening the screener. So when the ball comes down the floor, the trailing big might go and set a ball screen. And if they do that, that's totally fine. All right, the other big needs to read it. And as that 1 is coming off that screen at the top, okay, the 5 steps in and screens the 4. So the 4 would actually be running off wide open, hopefully there, and the 1 would be turning that corner with the ball coming into that space. And if they didn't get it, it would be a kick out. 5 would come to the top. The 1 can run through and replace themselves, and we're back in that action. So that would be called Euro. Okay, so let's have a look at what our options are when the ball reverses to the 3 side. So we've had that initial pass ahead by the 1 cuts through, we get the down screen or the up screen, whichever we choose, with our interior players, and that ball gets kicked out to that top position. Now we're in that action on the 3 side. So we're looking to get the ball from one side to the other, because the more we can reverse the ball from one side to the other, the more we open space up in the keyway. If we only ever stay on the same side, defense will be set and you won't have much to drive, not much space to drive into. So when the ball does come back to the top, just before that's happening, this player on the opposite wing should already be deciding what they're going to do. All right, there's only a few options. The first one, straightforward. If you're not sure of anything, you're literally just going to back cut as hard as you can, trying to get the ball for a layup and go through to the opposite corner. That's your first option. The second option is a down screen, which is simply called down. All right, we would line our players up to get that screen and make sure that we're actually setting the screen on the defensive player. And we would have the 1, or in this case, the baseline player coming off looking for the ball. Now that could be a pass and screen, all right, or it could be a dribble handoff. Now, as soon as the down screen is set by the wing, all right, just like they would have done on their back cut, they cut through and fill the opposite corner. All right, and if we were going to do a dribble handoff, we'd want to get it as low as possible as they're coming off that screen, turning the corner, all right, and getting that screen and roll action, or dribble handoff and roll action. When that ball is going across, the opposite player will be lifting. When I say across, I mean from this top position here. When that screen's being set by the 3, the 5 should be starting to lift to clear space. And on that dribble handoff, they would be popping out the top, so that we've got, again, all that keyway to work in, okay? From there, if we didn't get it, we'd kick back to the top, fill the wing. We've already got the dunker spot down here, and as you can see, we are set up in our 3-side action on the opposite side of the floor. The other option is to be in up. Up is simply the opposite to down. We're gonna set a back pick. So it's actually the person down low who steps in to line the player up, and they're gonna set a back screen here for the 2. All right, they're going to come off and they're just going to pop back out. They're not actually going to go through. Whoever sets the screen in up or down goes through to the opposite corner. But once they set the back pick here, they're actually going to show like they want the ball really quickly to set their player up. Then they're going to back cut hard through, trying to get that back door pass in for the layup as we cut through. If we don't get that, same thing. We're going to lift to get a pass and a screen and roll action, or we're going to get down into that dribble handoff where we should have the opposite interior player popping up for the space to be created for these 2 to go to work on that side. If we didn't get it, we'd just be back in the same situation and we can continue to flow side to side. If we were to call zoom is very simple. It's just like our down. The only thing zoom means is that we are definitely setting the down, but we are also definitely setting a dribble handoff. So it's like a double screen, but with the dribble handoff here. All right, everything else is exactly the same. You'd be coming off there nice and hard. All right, we'd have the roll. 1 would be going through. Everything's exactly the same as what down would be, except in this instance, it is a double screen with the second screen being the dribble handoff. Another quick hit option that we will run out of flow, all right, on the ball reversal is called blind pig, or we'll just call it pig. How it works is when the ball is being reversed, like always, we've got our 3 side with our wing and our baseline here. All right, the big at the top is actually going to do a dribble entry at the wing. And that wing, instead of cutting through to the corner like they normally would, is actually going to shallow cut through the high post to the free throw line and back out. So the interior player would end up with the ball on the wing. We'd have a perimeter player from the wing come to the top, and then we get an action where the other interior player will lead for the ball, trying to receive it about the split line just above the free throw line. Now what this does is create a situation where the defender guarding the player at the top can't really see the ball. That's why it's called blind pig. The defender's got to turn their head to see where the ball is, which allows for an opportunity for this player to back cut really hard off that to receive the handoff into open space in the keyway. Okay, if they didn't get that, All right, then the ball, the player could just swing through to the opposite corner, all right, and we can then kick the ball or dribble the ball back out or pass the ball back to the 3 side over here and run any other action that we want. A pass and screen, all right, and we would just send the players back into their original positions, all right. This guy would just come back through, all right, whatever has to happen, but we would get back into that strong side versus weak side with a 3 side, 2 side action.